Sound, deep subterranean rumble swelling beneath silence, followed by a slow, resonant heartbeat bass visual, aerial over the Pacific Ring of Fire. Glowing red fissures beneath shifting clouds. The earth beneath us seems still, solid, safe, but the truth is nothing on this planet ever truly rests. Beneath every city, every mountain, every ocean, a hidden rhythm beats. The crust drifts and grinds, like great rafts of stone floating on a molten sea. It moves too slowly for eyes to see, yet its touch reshapes continents and rewrites history. Sound, low-frequency hum rising into tension, visual animated cross-section of Earth's plates colliding. Magma surging upward like veins of fire. For 4.5 billion years, these plates have danced a slow collision, an endless separation. Where they meet, mountains rise. Where they diverge, oceans are born. Where they slide, the ground shivers. Pressure builds in silence. For centuries, it waits. Then, in a single breath, it is released. Sound, sudden violent crack, deep roar shaking through the mix, visual, aerial of city lights, flickering as streets ripple. Waves of dust rise like smoke. When the earth trembles, it is more than vibration, it is revelation. The crust fractures, buildings twist, power lines sway like blades of grass. In seconds, the familiar becomes unrecognizable. The world we trust to stand still reminds us that it too has limits. 1906, San Francisco. 1960, Valdivia. 2011, Japan. 2023, Turkey. Each date, a scar in memory, a moment when the Earth's heart skipped a beat. Sound, low thrum fading into oceanic roar. Visual, undersea camera, view rocks shifting, sediment swirling, light refracting through sudden motion. Sometimes the tremor begins beneath the sea. A sudden jolt in the deep rips through the ocean floor, pushing entire columns of water skyward. What begins as a whisper becomes a wall, a tsunami. It travels across oceans invisible, faster than a jet. Then, near shore, it rises. In 2004, one wave born near Sumatra traveled for hours, striking 14 nations. 230,000 lives vanished beneath the water. The ocean, calm and infinite, had reminded humanity how small it truly is. Sound, echo of rushing waves fading into silence, faint human voice calling. Then quiet visual, shoreline after retreating wave wreckage, scattered like ghosts of a vanished world. Yet from destruction, creation follows. The Earth's violence is never without purpose. In Pakistan, 2013, a new island surfaced from the Arabian Sea, a mound of mud and gas, where there was once only blue. In Japan, volcanoes born from subduction zones give rise to entire archipelagos. The same forces that take life also give it form. Sound, distant fire crackling beneath the rumble of molten flow, visual, lava pouring through fissures, hardening into black crust under cooling steam. Every earthquake is a message from the planet's core. Nothing is permanent. Mountains are not monuments, they are moments. Even the ground beneath our feet is temporary, borrowed from time. The Andes rise where one plate sinks. The Himalayas climb an inch each year. The Pacific Ocean is slowly closing like a wound that heals in reverse. Sound calm, wind carrying faint tremors. Soft metallic ping like sonar underwater, visual. Seismic sensors blinking on ocean floor. Cables glowing faintly. A scientist monitors signals. We've learned to listen. Seismographs translate the Earth's heartbeat into waveforms, sharp spikes of fear and beauty. Satellites measure the drift of continents. Deep-sea sensors record quakes no human will ever feel. Through these instruments, we hear a living planet breathing. Sound, archival static layered with narration. Fragments, voices of past warnings, overlapping faintly, visual. Old film of crumbling cities cross-fading into holographic 3D models of quake simulations. Our ancestors saw earthquakes as punishment, Poseidon's wrath, dragons shifting beneath mountains, gods shaking the sky. Today, we call them natural phenomena, but the awe remains unchanged. Every tremor reminds us that control is an illusion. Sound, rumble, subsiding. Gentle dripping echo of water in dark caverns, visual cracks in desert floor, filling slowly with rain. First green shoots pushing through. When the shaking stops, the silence is almost sacred. Water trickles into fractures. Seeds awaken. Cities rebuild. Humanity learns, adapts, forgets and learns again. But below, the fault lines remain, waiting in patience. The earth keeps its own calendar, not ours. Sound low, deep tone under rushing water. Visual transitions underwater visual. Tectonic plates viewed from space, slowly grinding, glowing, releasing faint energy like lightning under the ocean. We live on a thin shell of fragile crust floating atop a sea of fire. The continents are its scars, the volcanoes its breath, the quakes its pulse. Even now, the earth is remaking itself beneath us. Sound orchestral rise, strings layered with low choral voices, visual drone shots of the Pacific Ring of Fire. Volcanoes glowing at dawn, smoke rising in slow motion. Around the Pacific lies the Ring of Fire, a circle of instability stretching 40,000 kilometers. It births over 75% of the world's volcanoes and 90% of its earthquakes. From Alaska to Chile, from Japan to New Zealand, the Earth's tectonic heartbeat echoes endlessly, shaping life and loss in equal measure. Sound, rhythmic drumming like a heartbeat, layered with waves crashing against cliffs visual. The camera pans across mountain ranges, Himalayas, Andes, Alps, each a frozen motion of collision. Mountains may seem eternal, but they are only paused motion. Every peak is a frozen explosion, every valley a record of collapse. The Himalayas rise because India still collides with Asia. One day, even Everest will erode into the sea. Creation and decay are the same gesture, seen at different speeds. Sound, underwater rumble turning into distant thunder visual. Magma chamber erupting in slow motion. Lava fountains reflected in a lake of ash. Volcanoes and earthquakes are siblings born of the same tension. One releases vertically, one horizontally. Both speak the same language of fire and pressure. Without them, continents would stagnate. Life itself might never have evolved. Sound, silence, then faint human voices chanting amid ruins visual. Survivors lighting candles among rubble. Quiet prayers rising into the dusk. In the aftermath, humanity finds meaning. We measure loss, rebuild walls, and study faults. Yet the deeper lesson is not in the data, it is in humility. The planet is not cruel. It is alive, and we are the briefest flicker in its timeline. Sound, soft wind, piano entering gently, visual forests, regrowing on volcanic soil. Coral reefs forming near cooled lava shores. From destruction springs fertility. The ash of eruptions becomes the richest soil. Rivers redirected by earthquakes create valleys for future forests. Even coral reefs rise where volcanoes once stood. The Earth's wounds are not scars, they are gardens. Sound, faint radio hum blending into orchestral crescendo visual. Modern seismic maps, glowing like neural networks. Earth, as a living brain of stone. Scientists now map the planet's heartbeat in real time, a global pulse that never stops. Data flows from thousands of sensors, painting a portrait of a restless world. Every tremor, every flicker of pressure, is part of a symphony still being written. Sound, slow fade into deep, resonant tones. Wind builds softly visual. The camera pulls back from cities to continents, from continents to the whole Earth, rotating in shadow. We walk on motion, we build on breath, we live on rhythm. Every mountain, every island, every coastline is a moment in that rhythm, a frozen note in the song of the planet. The Earth does not seek to destroy, it seeks balance. But balance, in nature's language, means movement. Sound, faint heartbeat under silence, fading slowly visual. Earths from orbit, fault lines glowing faintly beneath cloud shadows, fade to black. The ground beneath us is alive. It breathes, it trembles, and it remembers.